Good morning, hunters. We are going to spend a few minutes today talking about the way mental health has been impacted by many of the events that have happened over the last year with COVID and quarantine and not being in the school building. And we're just going to focus on some of the common responses that many of us have experienced or may be experiencing due to what has gone on this past year. We want to start by first acknowledging that this has been a really difficult year for all of us. Everyone has been impacted by what has gone on over the past year in one way or another. Daily routines have been disruptive, often shattered. Um, we are all experiencing a loss of connection to others, as many of us haven't interacted with anyone outside of our immediate family for a good portion of the last year. We're also experiencing grief over accumulating loss. That accumulating loss can be of traditions to our family, maybe holidays that didn't happen the way that they have in the past, or school traditions that we missed out on earlier in this year. The accumulating loss and grief can also be related to just how quickly things are shifting and changing and losing that established routine. And that also plays into the fact that a lot of us are feeling a loss of control. Our choices and movement, how we move, where we move, when we can move, has really been restricted because of public health policies in order to keep our communities safe. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't, just because we're doing it for our community and benefiting the community, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have a significant impact on our mental health. These are all things that many of us either currently are experiencing, have experienced over the past year, or sometimes it can change minute by minute, day by day. We may not be experiencing them now, but could experience them tomorrow. These include things like worrying and anxiety and anger and sadness, general sense of loss, stress, feeling out of control, feeling irritable, having trouble concentrating, feeling frustrated, having trouble sleeping, changes in eating patterns, feeling confused, boredom, disorientation. With everything changing and shifting suddenly, it can feel really hard to get a sense of where you are and where you're going. So you can also feel very stuck along with that disorientation. And then numbness. Some people are just are just exhausted and numb, have felt all the feels, and now are just empty, have given everything that they have to give. It's common to have any or all of these emotions and feelings. Again, some of us are currently feeling them. Some of us have felt them in over the course of the past year. And some of us even are feeling these things all at the same time. It's also common to have conflicting emotions and feelings. Again, we talked about that a lot of what's going on is to keep people in our communities safe. And we can have a real sense of duty to the greater community, but we can still at the same time feel angry about the fact that we're doing these things, but also then losing out on holiday traditions with families or being able to be in school. So these conflicting emotions can also lead to feelings of guilt. You feel guilty that you're angry about things. And even a good descriptor of what a lot of us are feeling right now is like snow globes. Like our emotions are just unsettled and they're swirling and they're changing constantly as things around us are shifting. And it just makes it really hard to process and settle the emotions and have that sense of calm. A lot of us have also felt stuck over the past year. Time is moving forward, but we haven't, because of that disorientation, or not knowing where to go because things have shifted so much. A lot of people have just stayed put, and feel stuck. And it's also really important that we acknowledge this morning that all of us are coming back to school in very different places. And again, our emotions can change quickly as we re-enter these school routines. So it's important for us to know that just because we're feeling one way in the morning, by the time third hour rolls around and things become a little bit more familiar, the emotions may change, and they may change very quickly, and that is very normal. So we just also want to give you a few coping strategies that you can use to take care of your mental well-being and manage those strong emotions that might be coming up. These are really simple strategies that you can do quietly where you are. So if you're studying in class, you can totally use these. You don't need anything special to use them, and you can do them without anyone noticing what you're doing. Um, and it's just really simple and easy, and it'll just help your body and mind focus and process some of those strong emotions. So the first one is breathing. Sounds super silly, but slow, deep belly breathing really is the easiest, quickest way to return your body and your mind to calm. It sets off some, when you breathe deeply, not the shallow chest breathing, but when you do the slow, deep breathing all the way down to your belly, that sets off some biological processes that trigger the release of some calm, happy hormones in your body, and it just slows everything down. There's a number of tools that you can use to help you to remember to take slow, deep breaths. So as you go up each side of the square, you're breathing in for a count of 4, and then you're holding, and then you breathe out for a count of 4, and you hold again, and then start it all over again. The same with the triangle and the hexagon. Another tool you can use is called distraction. And this is when you're distracting your mind away from those strong emotions so you don't get caught in a thought spiral, and which just keeps amping everything up and up and up. And once you use your mind to pull your attention away from what's going on with those emotions, and you're going to give your full attention to doing something else, then that triggers your body to calm down, or calm up if you need to. Calm is kind of in the center, but it just helps your body relax and get back to that center place. So activities you can do in the classroom, you can count the number of tiles that are on the floor, or you can count the number of those little itty bitty teeny dots that are in the ceiling tiles. You can pick a color. The example we used is red or blue or green. Pick a color and see how many times, just count how many times that color is in the room. And it could be on a bulletin board, a piece of paper, a piece of clothing that someone is wearing. Just intentionally go around the room, look at your surroundings, and count how many times you see that color. You can also use mindfulness to describe what your teacher is doing one step at a time, and do it in your head. Don't do it out loud. You could say, my teacher is talking. My teacher is passing out paper. My teacher is calling on a student. This is just a really easy way to take yourself out of your head and into the classroom, and putting your full attention on what's going around you rather than what's going on inside you. Another super easy one to do that isn't listed here, it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you name 5 things you can hear in the classroom, and then you name 4 things you can see in the classroom, 3 things that you can feel, like your skin against your desk, or your feet on the floor, or your hair in a ponytail. stuff like that. And then 2 things that you can smell. And then 1 thing that you can taste. Or if there's nothing you can think of in the moment that you can taste, 1 thing that you like to taste, your favorite taste. Maybe it's chocolate chip cookies or pepperoni pizza. That's another way to get yourself out of your mind and out of your body, not focusing on what's going inside, but pulling that attention away to what's going on outside of you. And another strategy that you can use is physical pressure. So this is putting slight pressure on your body in different places in order to trigger your body's, again, biological processes to give you a sense of order and calm, and to get your body to release those relaxation hormones. Again, you can do it easily where you are sitting in the classroom without other people noticing. Some ideas to do this include clasping your hands together or interlacing your fingers, and then squeezing your fingers into each other and into your hands. You can also press your palms together and then push in. And you can use your thumb and your pointer finger on one hand, so like your right hand, and then press that area of skin between your thumb and pointer finger on your left hand. That loose skin between those 2 fingers, and then you can switch and do it on the opposite side. And then you can also, this last one, you can essentially, what you're doing is giving yourself a hug, and then you could do it, you don't have to use both hands, but you're giving yourself a hug. You're taking one arm across your body and placing it on the upper arm of your other arm. And then you're just gently rubbing that arm back and forth. And that skin sensation is another thing that triggers those processes to get the stress hormones to stop and the relaxation hormones to start flowing. You can visit our virtual focus room for some more coping strategy ideas. There are a ton in there that are simple, easy to use. This is the web address for it, or you can also go to the Denfeld guidance department page, and there's a link to the focus room there as well. And here's some ideas about when you should reach out for help. And really, a lot of these say 2 weeks. And that's more like if you're noticing that these changes and these strong emotions are lasting for a while. So 2 weeks is generally what they say. But if you're not, I mean, we can all have bad days, or several bad days in a row. But generally there's also some good days mixed in there. But if you're feeling like out of control and these mood swings are lasting more than 2 weeks, or sleep is another big one. You're either sleeping way too much or too little, because sleep is kind of one of those things that sets your body up for success in every sense. And if you're not getting enough, you're not going to be successful. And if you're getting way too much, you're going to have another set of problems. If you feel like you have too much energy or no energy at all, or this is a big one, if you find yourself needing to use substances or engaging in other risky activities in order to avoid feeling those strong, painful emotions, like you're trying to generate adrenaline or something either trying to numb out or create that adrenaline, those positive feelings in an unhealthy way, then it's probably time to check in with a trusted adult. It's important to know that those things don't always mean that there's a significant issue that needs to be addressed. But if you've been experiencing that for a while and it feels really hard for you to manage on your own, and it doesn't feel like things are getting better, or you can't think of a time in the last 2 weeks that wasn't like this, then definitely it's time to reach out, check in with a trusted adult about what you're experiencing, and just have that conversation for next steps. Or maybe other coping strategies that you can try out. At school, a trusted adult can be any teacher, a counselor, a school social worker, Miss Blanchard, our Dean of Students, or any of the principals. But definitely reach out for help, because at Denfeld, hunters take care of our emotional well-being. And we use those coping strategies to help us manage those strong emotions. And it's important. One of the things in our learning spaces of a SOAR expectation is that we use our resources. And so if we need help, reaching out to a trusted adult is using a resource, because that will help. Emotional well-being helps all hunters to be present and effective in the classroom. Thank you, hunters. We hope you have a good day, rest of your day.